So you put this tiny amount of cannabis oil on her skin, topically on her skin, and how soon is it that you guys start to notice positive changes?
Well, a week later.
What did you see
a week later, that crazy crater she had was gone. Like it was like looked like new healing skin. And everything, like, you know, the red had stopped being so red. It started getting like a little bit lighter skinned, and it was very inflamed before, so it stopped being so inflamed. I mean, it definitely looked like the skin was renewing itself. That's when I was like, I started screaming. I was like, oh my God, like this is amazing. Like this is really working.
Thanks for joining us again. We are live. This is an important conversation. We're speaking with Mike and Callie Hyde. They're parents of a 3-year-old who's currently in remission from a brain tumor. Mike and Callie gave him marijuana oil, cannabis oil, after Cash almost died after chemotherapy.
Marijuana is dangerous, Drew. We don't want to see children administered a drug that's going to cause them to, bottom line, not be smart later in life. The stereotype of the burnt out marijuana user is not there for no reason.
All I can say is we went through our 30 rounds of proton radiation, and Cashy did not use one nausea or pain medication. Cannabis is a patented, neuroprotectant, and antioxidant. Every cancer patient has the right to that. Cashy survived a lot of stuff, yes. Cannabis was a long, hard journey, and I truly question the ethics and the morals of any doctor that can say that cannabis is dangerous. There is not one proven death to cannabis. If you want to talk dangerous, talk about a kid on morphine. Talk about a kid on ketamine or oxycodone or Dilaudid or Ativan. I replaced all those drugs with cannabis oil.
Mike,
talk to Dr.
I'm going to stop you. I'm running out of time. Dr. Gitlow, I'm going to go back out to you. Desperate times, desperate measures. I've got about 30 seconds. Can you put a little coda on this for us?
The coda is that there's no such thing at this point as medical marijuana. Marijuana has not yet been shown to have an acceptable medical use.
Now, Sanjay, welcome to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, come on, you've been looking at this for a year, and I want to remind you that in 2009, you wrote a Time magazine article entitled Why I Would Vote No on Pot. You've changed your mind.
I have, and as part of my thinking recently, I've apologized for some of the earlier reporting because I think we've been terribly and systematically misled in this country for some time, and I did part of that misleading.
Terribly and systematically misled. Could it be that the American people have been fed lies and half-truths by a government that claims to care about its people? You don't have to convince me of that, but I wanted to hear it from the person herself, who applied the cannabis oil and saw the seemingly miraculous effects heal her friend's nose cancer right before her eyes within 2 weeks. I drove out into the night to meet her. As streetlights streaked past me in melted stretches of color, I felt my whole sense of reality melting as I considered the possibility that, beyond the lifetime of being told that cannabis was a terrible drug with no medical benefits, that maybe, just maybe, it was a curative plant with startling positive impacts that could change the world.
My aunt calls a dermatologist because she wanted to see if it was okay. So my aunt goes ahead and calls her, and the dermatologist tells her, she's like, oh, you're going to start using cannabis oil? She goes, where can I find some? I want some of that stuff too. Let me know where your niece is getting it from. That was her reaction. So obviously she had heard about it from somebody else too. So it's been known that it's really good for your face.
So you could imagine dermatologists who are supposed to be experts in this stuff and whose living and their expertise depends on having the most cutting edge stuff. You could imagine how desperate she probably is to attain that stuff, and then balancing that with the fact that it's illegal.
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy thing to be, able to not get something that you really want for one of your patients when you know that it works, it's especially there's this big taboo over it, and you know that it's something that's been it's being proven to work, but yeah, you can't give it to them because it's illegal. You know, it just seems like medicine is almost going in the wrong direction. You know, why are these blocks in place, especially for something like cancer? You know, why are people not looking at this?
Yeah, all you hear all day is cancer this, cancer that, cancer, oh my god, it's so bad, everyone's dying from it.
No, and there's a million cures every day.
Race
Like,
for
every day
the
I
cure.
feel, yeah, every day I read a new cure that maybe this, maybe mole rats, maybe, you know, beets, maybe, I mean, everything supposedly cures cancer or gives cancer, you know? But I know because I saw it with my own eyes. That's why I know this, you know? Because I saw it with my own eyes. Because that second week, she had nothing. Like, she had nothing almost. For her surgeon to say, hey, listen, we don't even have to graft your nose anymore.
You know, if you look at all the papers that are written in the United States about marijuana, the vast majority of them are about the harm. That we fund studies on harm, we don't fund studies on benefit nearly as much. So it gives a distorted picture. But you know, I didn't look far enough, I didn't look deep enough, I didn't look at labs in other countries that are doing some incredible research. I didn't listen to the chorus of patients who said, not only does marijuana work for me, it's the only thing that works for me. I took the DEA at their word when they said it's a Schedule I substance and has no medical applications. There was no scientific basis for them to say that.
So the first day, it had, you know, that nasty crater, and it was really red, you know? After about a week, that crater was gone. And the red had turned pink. By the second week, there was just that raised area on her nose, but it almost looked skin colored already. Like the pinkness was almost completely gone. And so it started already looking like that normal, just healthy pink skin, you know? I think if we are seeing results like this, the most logical thing to do in the scientific community is do serious testing on this. Like, this is what we need to go to. This is what we need to find. We need to get money for funding because this stuff works. It's real. It's not a fix-all cure, I'm sure, you know, but it's working for the certain cancers that it works good on. Skin cancer mainly, and I think I might have heard some other pancreatic or maybe...
God knows how many
Who knows?
applications there are that because of the absence of research, they probably would have figured this out decades ago.
Yeah. All because, you know, all because of money. You know, all our people have died. I mean, can you imagine how many people we could have saved with this stuff?
Let me take it a step further than that. I think it's irresponsible of the medical community not to offer this as an alternative. 2 points. First of all, these other medications that we talk about for pain, for example, morphine, Dilaudid, OxyContin, Vicodin, you name it. Every 19 minutes in this country, peers, in the United States, someone dies of an accidental prescription drug overdose. This is no joke. Every 19 minutes. As we investigated this, I couldn't find one documented case of someone dying of a marijuana overdose. We also know that for some situations like neuropathic pain, which is that lancinating, terrible pain people can get in their limbs or extremities, sometimes marijuana is the only thing that can actually work.
I've known someone with cancer who used it, and it had a huge beneficial effect.
If you really think about the way that society is structured, like just society, the fact that we have this government that we must obey, because if not, then these people will take us to jail, and then everything is structured by, you know, this authoritarian law.
How is your aunt now?
My aunt right now is doing great. You know, I mean, her cancer's gone.
So she's gone.
It's just gone, yeah.
And she didn't need the skin graft.
No, she did not need the skin graft. She didn't need anything. I mean, she just needed basically for them, you know, just to cut the last little piece, you know, that they did for, you know, just in case reasons, you know. But she basically said, she's like, it's pretty much gone, you know. She's like, I really don't have to do a lot. She's like, I'm just gonna do it just to do it, but... Right
now it's listed as the most dangerous substance. It's in the category of most dangerous substances in America.
I think.
The addiction is possibly real, about 9%. Put it in context, cocaine is about 20%. That's actually considered less dangerous than marijuana. Alcohol has a higher rate of addiction. Smoking, 30%, and that leads to far more deaths than marijuana. So I just don't quite understand the moral equivalence. The point is that we're trying to help take care of people, and we should not take marijuana off the table as an option here.